Hello again. I was told my last videos were pretty confusing, so I'm going to try to explain what my idea is, and then whenever I find something, I'll explain that too.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to show you this, but this is my daily schedule. This isn't a schedule, it's a list of to-dos. So I found that I had lists scattered all over the place. So I pulled them all into one place of just individual tasks I want to do. And then I have this tab, recurring, which is for recurring tasks. So for example, I'm going to just organize every Sunday. Today is Sunday, so that's what I'm doing. On Monday, I'm going to scan my written notes, generally tidy up, like clean my hard drives, for instance, etc. So I've been creating, I can just show you today's. There, you can see it. It's basically just a sheet of paper that's going to print out in the morning, which is like my own to-do list. So the idea, again, is that it would not take me any effort in the moment, in the morning, and then I would have sort of my plans from the day before, from weeks before, whatever. Who knows how practical it is, but I think it's fun. So I want to automate it such that if the date scheduled for a task comes, then it would put it on that list. Recurring, these should show up every day. These should show up on their specific days. Yeah, and that's it. I don't think it's going to be too hard because this was the markdown that I created this thing from. And I think I can just generate this text file from a Python script, save it, and then run pandoc. And actually, this script, this is what I've been working on so far. It's a mess. This up here is me starting to try to read the Excel file. And down here, this is where it runs pandoc. And then this actually opens the resulting docx file and prints it automatically to the wireless printer downstairs. So at the end of this process, I will have a button I can press, which will print out the sheet, all rendered and ready to go, which will be my to-do list for the day. It's a little bit goofy when I say it like that. Okay, so I want to read this Excel file in a standardized way. I don't want to have to code in exactly how long it is or how wide it is or what the columns are for each of these pages. I want it to be kind of automatic. Okay, I should put headers on all of these. And this allows a little bit of flexibility because I can switch columns around as I want. I can add columns and I don't have to change the code. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So in the code, this already opens up the workbook and loops through every sheet. It has a name for the sheet. And I want to extract the header and the rows just by looping through the rows in the actual first row is header, the rest are. And then create dictionaries. Well, that's pretty incredible. So it looks like I can get a whole row very easily. Sheet.row 0. And then I can actually get the first column with the same method. And then I know exactly how many rows there are. But we want to start at the first one now. Yeah, maybe that'll actually work. Oh, and actually, these are cells, and I have to get the cell.value of them. I'll split this up. I can still do this in a list compression. Like that. Same thing here. Try it out. Okay, I'm getting something strange for dates. So this looked wrong, but actually everything's right except for these strange numbers, which presumably represent today's date. I'm just going to search with the specific package. It'll give a very directed answer like that. Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't have to think of that. I'm just going to pass this off to another function instead of trying to do it all in the list compression. This should be J. I'm passing in the index because, so this J is actually going to be the column in each individual row. So this is one row, and this is one element. So I'm going to need the row index, or the column index, so that I can figure out whether I should apply date formatting, like this. And I'm going to do something typical. X is actually a cell when I start with it, so I'll just change it to a value. This sort of self-setting eliminates me having to change the code down below. Date time not defined. Yeah, I forgot a few imports. I don't really need this index. I can just say if it's a float, like that. I just realized these might be empty cells that are fucking me up. Yep, they're empty. Okay. All right, finally. So I ran into a problem here. I said if the column, it's the third or the fourth column, then I want to process it as a date, basically turning this number up here, 43848, into an actual date time, like this. But you see there's a lot of empty cells. So when there's an empty cell, it's actually an empty string that it passes into here, which errors out, and that's why I have all these errors. So I just test for the string. It now works. This data looks pretty good. So now I want to put it into an even better format. I'm just going to convert each of these rows into dictionaries. And I'll show you a bit what that means. Because I have this header, I want to mark done as a specific entry, as done question mark. And this works by just using the index and looking up what the name of the 0th entry, for example, is in this header. And it looks like that. So now I should get this to do. Oops, that's important. I'm having more trouble with this. Okay. Oh, I see. I also need the sheet in here. So basically, that worked fine on the first sheet, but the columns are different on the other sheets. In fact, there's none on this one and none on this one. Okay, I'm gonna set this logic away just in case. Yeah, just in case I need to add to this, I'd like to separate this logic. Okay, this should work. Looks like it did. So now to-do.values is not what I meant. So this is a dictionary now that has 3 entries, 1 for each page. So this block of code, although it took me a minute, I can copy and paste this into any project that I need to read an Excel sheet in, and it will automatically split it into pages, give them keys based on their names, so I can immediately dig into this data. I'm sure this might have existed. I might have just redone something that already exists. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I need to create current draft based on this spreadsheet. We'll start here. I'm doing a lot of string concatenation, so I've been told that I should use lists and then join them in the end, and I don't really know why, but I do it. A little bit of meta psychology. That's the beginning of my to-do sheet. This is strangely personal. I didn't really mean it to be. Okay, so here's where the magic's going to happen. Okay, so this is nice. Occurring. Now I'm looping through rows in this, and I can say entry when. So if this is all. I can even add the category in as some formatted thing. Should I? No. Okay, and the next thing would be to make a bunch of entries, 1 for each day of the week. But that's where you should stop yourself. You shouldn't repeat work. So days equals. Actually, we don't even have to do this in a list. Okay. I wonder if these are just the standard. I might not have to code anything. So this is stir if time. It's for formatting dates. So you can see there's actually a format I should probably follow. Okay. I just need to create now. And this actually substitutes for any sort of entry of specific logic for these. This basically just says, I have to probably do dot upper here if I'm going to actually make it uppercase in my, I like it as uppercase. So if the entries when equals, today, the day of the week, I just need to make now. You have to say datetime.datetime.now. Back to page 1, I'll do the same thing. Looping through the date scheduled, one time. Looping through the one time page, and I'll look at the date scheduled column using basically the same reasoning here. Yeah, so it looks like I can do that very easily. Just hope they're exactly the same. One thing I could do, I know there's a date util parser, yeah. So this allows me to kind of put it in any format I want, but really it just allows me not to have to worry about bugs here. I can't remember the blank case. Okay, now we can just do parser.parse, I'm guessing, equals now.date. I think I can do this. Returns the date part. Then we add it. Yep, and that should be it. I just need to try it. I'm sure it's not going to work, but we'll see. Okay, so there's some key error. So I'm going to check out what these keys look like. Okay, it looks like I didn't have columns at the time that I first read this in, so I need to read it in again. I should say that more clearly. I didn't have headers here. So I was running into this key error. Must be a string or carry, not date time. I forgot these were already parsed. So that makes things a lot easier. Always nice to see. That's a nice error. None type has no attribute date. Fair. So instead of it being entry, it's none. Just goes to show you forget what you've done already. Halfway through the project, at least I do. D. This looks correct. So wait, let's check this against what I have in here. Okay, so this is all normal to get done today. Okay, these are every single day. Write your book sentence, read 20 pages, 3 chess games, and then organizing projects that came because of Sunday. And I don't have anything specifically scheduled for today. Let me put in. Okay, so now I have more things on today, so when I run this again, boink. Okay, time to do some debugging. So they definitely match, and it gets in there. Oh, they're all there. Well, what's going on? Okay, seems to be doing exactly what it needs to be doing. Perfect. Now after that, I'll add the rest of the document. Join it all together. Remember, it's still a list. And write it here. I'll skip the printing for now. And let's run it. Charging. Perfect. And nice, it outputs in this format. So this is actually going to be incorrect. This isn't the one I printed out. But it does look very similar. Guess I have this in here twice. This is the recurring one. And this is the today one. But it looks pretty good in general. So if I didn't comment out that last line, it would have done all that and then printed it out.
Okay. That's all I have for you. Okay, so it works. I'll use that every day as my to-do list. You may be asking, Alec, why would you want a paper to-do list? Why don't you just do it in Google Calendar like a normal person? And to that I say, because I'm tired of looking at screens and I want a piece of paper that I can write on and that I can feel